You know, you just mentioned this magic phrase, regular order, which in an earlier interview weeks ago with former Congresswoman Donna Edwards, she said that that was something she always heard when she was in Congress, but no one ever really found it. And when you said that, I was wondering about how seriously are you and the White House taking Republican offers, Republican overtures, their ideas for ways to negotiate over the American Jobs Plan. Are those proposals and are those efforts by Republicans? Are you taking them seriously?
Yeah, yeah. I'm a recovering governor, and with our governor, we had a Democratic uh, uh, Senate, Republican House. I learned at a fairly early age to be able to work with people on both sides, and I still do that. When, several months ago, when Senator Capito and I were getting ready to go to work and beginning to early stages of crafting roads, highways, bridges, service transportation legislation, we literally wrote to every senator, Democrat, Republican, Independent, and the Senate, and said, talk to your governors, talk to your state departments of transportation, find out what their priorities are, share those with us so that we can begin drafting a bill that reflects the priorities of all 50 states, whether it have to be red states or blue states. That's the way to I think, to make progress. And you don't get an 89-2 vote on water infrastructure legislation every day without having that kind of outreach. And when we're working on the water infrastructure legislation, Jonathan, we did really a similar approach, and we asked for input from everybody. We ended up, Shelley and I took a lot of amendments. We put them in a manager's amendment, passed that unanimously, and at the end of the day, passed the bill by 89-2 vote. If we could do that in water, my hope and prayers, I don't think it's a fool's errand. My hope and prayers, we can do that with respect to roads, highways, and bridges. We can do that, then we can go to the next step. Could be intercity passenger rail, which I think is really important. We had a lot of people arrive flying airplanes and flying like a couple hundred miles, and they have actually railroads between city pairs. And we ought think DC, think Richmond, and we ought to be improving and upgrading our intercity passenger rail, which is what the president wants to do. And frankly, there's a lot of bipartisan interest in that, not just on the Northeast Corridor, but throughout the country. And before we went into the pandemic 14 months ago, Amtrak, for the first time in its 50-year history, paid for its operating costs in the Northeast Corridor, and I think its capital costs in the Northeast Corridor out of the fare box. First time ever. And they're carrying about a quarter of a million people a week, and once we get this pandemic behind us, they'll start doing that again. So I think there's a real appetite for intercity passenger rail. The president wants to do it. I think there's a lot of interest on both sides. They offer that.